Welcome back to the Cyclos 4 instruction videos. This video will be about configurations. The configurations, together with the products, determine the complete look and feel of Cyclos for the users. Well, first make sure we're logged in to the network. In this case, we are logged into the network My New Network as a global administrator. Then we can go to System Management, and then we can go to Configurations. Actually, we already were there. As we already explained, configurations work in a hierarchic fashion. So the default configuration here, the default for my network, can be extended with a child configuration. In this case, we will do that. Except for the default configuration, a configuration should always have a parent configuration. Because there's only one configuration in this network, the configuration default for my network is automatically selected as the parent configuration here. And we will just call this the child configuration, just that's clear for us. Well, then we can say, okay, will we use this configuration for logged users, or will we also use it for guests? Well, in this case, we will also use it for guests, and we can create a specific guest URL, and we will call this guest page. So, for example, first it will be the name of your network, and after that you get a slash, and then you get slash guest page, and that will be the specific page for guests that log in or that see this network. Okay, then we can set all kinds of things here in the configuration. The session timeout, so for example, after 20 minutes, you will have to re-enter your password to continue working. If you require an email, if your email address should be unique, if your email should be validated, for example, we can select here that when you register to a public to a to the public register page. In this case, Cyclos will send an email message to the user. The user has to open his email, click on the link that is in the email, and this link will validate then the message. But we can also do this for imported users and other users. Well, so here in the configuration we can set all kind of other things, also the localization, like the language and the country. We can configure the addresses, the phones. We can configure how Cyclos is displayed. For example, the name that is the title of all pages, and in this case it's C3 International, but we can also call it my network, for example. And the name that is used for the administration, well, all kinds of things we can configure here. We can even define our own SMTP server. So if you have your own SMTP server, please use it, and you can send messages from your own email, which is much better because it looks much nicer. Then we can set some restrictions. Please make sure the maximum upload size doesn't become too big. Also, the dimensions for images should not be too big, because otherwise it doesn't fit very nice in our layout anymore. For PNGs, we have a different maximum image size because they are hard to they are very hard to zip. So for that, please keep this also low. And like most logos and stuff, they will only be 20 kilobytes. So this is already quite high for a PNG. Well, you can set some alerts. For example, if somebody gives a lot of very bad references, what if you, for example, set more than 20 bad references, very bad references, or if you receive more than 25 bad references, the system will generate an alert. Well, also the data visible to guest. So in this configuration, we have a specific guest URL. So people that log into this specific guest URL page we can say, okay, they have to log in with a virtual keyboard, or they can see, well, for example, we want them to be able to see the gold and the silver members. So then it's like a kind of member directory. And they also should be able to view advertisements from the gold and silver members. Uh, well, you can configure much more here. We won't get into too much details here. We save the configuration, and now you will see that some extra tabs will appear. Content, logos, themes, menu, banners, and channels. Well, all these content management and layout stuff we will describe in a separate video, but here we also still define the channels through the configuration. Channels can be created in the menu here, but they can be defined still in this page. So for example, if we want to define the main channel, we can say, okay, uh, it's we can disable it, we can whatever we want we can do with it. So if we disable it, they cannot log into the main channel, and you can, for example, only access Cyclos by the web services. We can set, okay, they can log in using their PIN or their transaction password. Actually, that are just all the passwords that are created. Let's see, where are the passwords? Here are the password types. So here you can create these password types, and we created login password, PIN, and transaction password, and we can say, okay, with this password they can log into Cyclos. And you can also set a confirmation password. For example, for some transactions you want also so first they log in with a login password, but then they have to finish off a certain transaction with their PIN. Well, we can also say that, and we can then save it. Well, so that are the most important configuration settings. You can also view the configurations here. So now you just view it. You cannot edit it. And you view also the channels here. Well, you can see here that this is the parent and this is the child configuration because it has a little arrow. We can extend the child configuration again, and then it will again have a little arrow under this configuration. So still the only thing we still have to do now is go to groups, and for example to gold members, and you see then here we have a configuration tab, and then we can set, for example, okay, for gold members we want the child configuration, so we want to use the configuration that we just added, modified. Okay, but you can also say, well, it uses the default configuration, whatever you want. Okay, so that is set. So that's the way you set a configuration to a group. And configurations cannot be set to a user directly, so you always have to pick a group, or you can set a configuration to a group set, and you can select one in the group set, but you can specify one in the group, and the one you select in the group will always override what you set in the group set. Okay, I hope that's all a little bit clear. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you again soon. And good luck configuring Cyclos.